gosh. There's the open. Mikey!
Who?
You don't know that dude? Oh, you can't see him yet.
What is this?
That's you, Rasheem. With a little less color. Mikey, you got to turn up the volume, baby.
Hey!
What's going on, man? Hey, welcome to another wonderful episode of the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei and his Barbershop crew. We got a special guest with us tonight. We'll get to him in a second. Let me get into this monologue a little bit, though. In the words of mediocre Mike, man, we're going to unleash hell in December, starting with this episode. As the season in college and the NFL winds down, the bowl season, college football playoffs, and of course the NFL playoffs are coming up. We take a deep dive into the real ones and the frauds that are out there. Make no mistake about it. We dot our I's, we're going to cross our T's, and we're not going to hold back facts. We're not going to hold them back. So the Barbershop crew, that's the man Rasheem up there, Rasheem the Dream, showing you his T-shirt, Coach Noob right beside him. He always goes by, like when he signs stuff at school, it's at Coach Noob. That's how he brings it. T-Sizzle, hopefully he's all right. Come on, man. And my boy tonight, my guy from the Grift, Mikey Mills. We know him affectionately as Chops. What's going on, Mikey?
What's going on, fellas? It is a pleasure to be here. What is going on?
We're so happy to have you join us tonight.
Hey,
we got a great episode to unwind here. We're going to start out though with what we call our spontaneous reactions. Now, T Sizzle put these out this week, so I'm going to let him go ahead and get into these. T Sizzle, bring the first one to us.
First one I was looking at was Zach Wilson. Did he or did he not say, I don't want to come back and play? He was thinking, I tried this a few times. I'm getting the shaft. I'm coming and going which way. Maybe I should just sit out and learn a little bit. What do you think?
Hey, when you say get in the shaft, you got to say pause.
Pause. Sorry about that.
No.
That's my weekend talk.
Okay.
You think he's at the Pegasus?
Oh, no. No, you can't do that.
This goes back to what our text chat was about. A lot of speculation was going, and it was really neat to see. What I read about it was Rodgers had his back, said, I don't know what you're trying to prove. I don't know what you're trying to put in this guy's mouth. He's a great kid. He's come a long way. He still has room for growth. But that's what we were talking about. This is sports, the sports world, what ifs and what can be's. And writers are going to say things. Is he going to come back? Does he want to be back? And that's what everyone's saying. What do you say?
Chops, what do you think, man?
Fellas, honestly, I'm maybe 2 weeks away from being a crotchety old man that starts telling the younger generation, get off my grass. And I say that because I see it with all, to me, this younger generation, I hate to say it because I do sound like the old man. None of them, no one's ever been coddled to greatness, right? And it has always been easy for a lot of these cats in high school, then in college. They were the man. Now you're in the league, and now it's hard, and they're not willing to fight through it. They're not willing to fight through it. I even say that on the portal. Not everybody, but you look at all these kids on the portal. They come to school, okay, I'm the man. Now you're not the starter. I'm transferring out. Remember when you used to say, no, you fight through it. You may be second string now, but if you work, you get whatever. Nobody wants to work anymore. That's my assessment with it.
Hey, I like this guy. We got to have him every time.
We talked about this. We talked about this.
Yeah. I like him. I like him a lot.
Rasheed, let me jump that over to Noobzo. Chops is talking about the portal, and we have a couple of different takes on it. You and I have a little bit. I get where he's coming from. He's talking about a guy 1-2 years in. He's like, I'm not making it, so I'm out of here. But we got a boy that's got 5 years in at Pitt. Noobs, talk about that.
Well, I think there's a lot of different scenarios in the portal, but I do agree, Chops, with the kids that just 1 year in, I'm not getting the playing time. They're not loving me like they did when I came on my visit, and they can't adjust and they roll out. Now we have one that's graduating. It's going to be a graduate transfer. And I think in those situations, it's different. Exactly.
Yeah.
Go to a different atmosphere. Just check out a different environment. You've been there for 5 years now with this extra COVID year. Let's see what it's like somewhere else, and get a chance to get a fresh start and maybe get some different coaching and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a difference there. Between learning and hurting my feelings. And yeah.
And maybe make some more money too. The money,
NIL, baby. That's right.
I was going to say, to touch on what Chop said. I mean, I think it's more, hey, is there more money over here also?
I'm thinking Zach Wilson's not a New York kind of guy, though. Maybe he's not a New York kind of guy. Maybe he needs to get out of that environment. No matter what they say, I don't think he's very good personally. I watched them beat the Steelers last year in person, but the Steelers are the Steelers. But I don't think he's very good. I'll tell you what he's good with. He's good with getting the moms. He holds that down pretty well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Here's my thing though. And I remember when there was a time when they say New York, LA were the markets. But now where you can be anywhere and there's an internet or whatever it may be, if you can't play, you can't play. Especially to me. But now the media may be different, but the local sports shows, the local podcasts, regardless of where you go, they're going to rip you if you can't ball, if you can't play anymore. But also what bothers me is a statement that people get in now when they'll say, you can't sit this young kid, you'll destroy his confidence. He's been a competitor since he's been 7. His confidence should not be ruined. Number one. Number two, if it's me, again, I'm just a dummy from Vandergrift. However, I look at it like this.
Ooh.
If I invest millions in you, draft or whatever have you, and I think you're the franchise, what is wrong with still holding the clipboard for a season to learn? Because if I sit you for 16 games, but you can win me a couple chips, I think that's a sacrifice we're all willing to make. But now everybody wants to get you're my first round. You need to play. That's not to me. That's just because you're first round doesn't mean you're ready to play. But again, you guys coach Maradei. You guys coach. I don't. What I mean? So
I got you. But what was the alternative? They didn't have an alternative. They had to plug and play. They had to put him in. There's no one to take notes from.
No. On that aspect, I get that. Right. You know what I mean? But my also thing is, if you're playing and you're not doing well, yeah, we can sit out and ride you. You're a rookie. We expected to do horrible, like Manny's first season, terrible. As in, Peyton. As in your boy Aikman's first season, terrible. Okay, we'll do that. We'll sacrifice a few for the good of more many seasons. It is what it is. But I don't think, we got to pull him. We'll destroy his confidence. He's been competing since forever. You know what I mean? And if that destroys his confidence, I don't want you on my squad. Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
You're scared to compete. You're scared to compete.
I don't buy him. I don't buy what they do. I will give you 100%. I'll throw myself behind what you said in terms of letting a kid sit and hold a clipboard for a year, maybe 2 years. Let's think about Aaron Rodgers. He held a clipboard behind Brett Favre for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Okay, and look at what Aaron Rodgers became. Jordan Love. He held a clipboard behind Aaron Rodgers, and he's starting to show signs of, hey, I fucking get it. I've got the skill. Let me get some development here. I've got the skill. I agree with that aspect of it. The NFL's not like that today. It's what are you doing for me right now? They think these guys come out of college. I'm listening to people all the time, and Rasheen and I chime in on this on Facebook a lot, telling us about how Caleb Williams is going to come out of USC, and he's a generational talent. That dude ain't no generational talent. He might be good at painting fingernails and crying to his mom. I don't think he's a generational talent.
They don't play defense in the Pac-12.
I said that.
You're not playing defense. Again, fellas, I'm the grumpy old man. I personally, and here's why, I don't get impressed on pro days. Here's why. You're not in pads. There's not a linebacker or a 300-pound lineman chasing you down. You're not in a helmet. You know every route you're about to throw. So if somebody he had a great pro day, he's supposed to. But that's just me. That's just me. You know what I mean? So again, but that's just me. So again, I think if a guy needs to hold the clipboard, let him hold the clipboard. You know what I mean? I think even in New England, they may be giving up on your boy. I'm looking at him right now. I can't think of his name. Yeah, a little early. Yeah. Only because I understand it's his second year, but maybe give it time. Belichick or third year. You're right, Mark. You're right. Yeah. But let me ask you guys something. How long do you guys want to give a quarterback before you say he's not the guy?
Noobs?
I think 2 seasons is fair. Like a season to
2
sit, like
full?
you said, 2 full seasons. What I'm saying it, and so say he's a guy that didn't play his first year. Then I think you give him 2 seasons for maybe that point. Like in DC, Sam Howell is a great example. I think you got to give that guy another season.
Noobs, how do you feel about Howell?
I like him. He's up and down, but just like you guys are talking, he's so young and inexperienced.
Yep.
You know, he just makes dumb mistakes right now, but I don't think he'll be making those in a year or 2.
Yep, 100%. I agree.
But if he does, I feel like the difference between him and Zach Wilson is this guy has, I don't know, he just got he got moxie. He's just got spunk and charisma. I think he's going to say, that was that throw. That was that game. I don't care about it anymore. I'm living this down. I'm living this game. And he's going to just keep plowing forward. I think he's a lot better than Zach.
All right, Young. It's the music to move on. Let's do it.
Hey, next thing I saw, and I put it out, I said, this guy named Mark Cuban, you may have heard of him. He made a little investment back in 2000. I think it was 2000. He bought the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million. Wow. He just sold them, I think, last week or something like that for 3.5
majority ownership
billion. 3.5 billion. He's still making executive decisions. He sold it to a family who owns the majority of the Sands Casino in Vegas or something like that. And I was thinking, man, I'd like to make an investment like that. What about you guys?
I think he made that investment like that because he's going to buy the Pittsburgh Pirates with all that extra money.
I love it. He's a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah, Mount Lebanon.
Yeah.
He's just 2 years older than me. He went to Mount Lebo when I was a sophomore. He was graduating from Mount Lebo.
They also said he was going by the original hot dog place in Oakland, but that never happened.
No wonder.
New boss, are you ever been to the O in Oakland?
Never been there.
It's as greasy as it got, baby.
Yeah.
You boss would take a spoon and just eat grease.
Yeah.
But it was late night, about 3 a.m.
Phenomenal.
It soaked up all that alcohol right quick.
Yep, it was on. You felt good the next day then again, you were like 22. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, like I'm glad for Cuban. You're right, Terry. You make an investment like that. You may not want to sell when you're selling, if the price is right and the market's right, you sell.
Heck,
you know, I don't know if Dallas will ever get to the point where they'll win another championship currently, the way the league is structured and in the money he has to spend on his team. But, you know, I 100%, I can only imagine what it's like to buy 285 and then sell for what he sold for it. Like, that's crazy to me.
That's generational wealth. He'll never spend it. You know what I mean? He's good. He's good. And now he's still I sold it to you, but I'm still making the decisions. That is the American dream.
Yeah.
You know?
Best of both worlds.
Man.
Yeah. Better deal than Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, man.
I don't know about that.
Jimbo sitting at home chilling, cashing checks.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Let's get it.
Y'all like my McAfee look tonight? I'm like my McAfee. What the hell?
You got to get a little more off.
I know, but I'm like completely cut like I used to be. I'm old now, right, Mikey?
Man.
This is a good one, too. All right, moving right along. Let's look at Week 13, the highlighted games. I went with Broncos and Texans right out of the gates. Those two teams are on an upward trajectory, essentially, after the Broncos started out so poorly. And the Texans really weren't shining early, but they came around really quick. Solid game. Texans continue to show that the selection of C.J. Stroud is more than legit. Their defense played awesome this past week. That Shanahan lineage, you guys, is unbelievable. And Shanahan has not been a head coach that long in the league to be spawning these guys out everywhere. You know, it's not like he's been in the league 17 years and hasn't spun anybody out. But
Mark, don't get me started. Man, I get hot as fish grease when I think about that.
I will say this though, Russ Wilson, as much as I thought he was done, He has brought it back around this year. He's done some good things. Russ Wilson, in my opinion, should be the comeback player of the year based on where he's gone so far this season. Not DeMar Hamlin, who's been sitting up in the box most of the games. I understand what happened to DeMar. But anyway, thoughts on that games, man? That game right there was a good one.
Question about Stroud. Is it his pedigree from college, or is it the coaches he has now?
It's the development of him from the quarterback and offensive coordinator.
Okay.
From the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator.
He's naturally talented too, though.
He's gifted. Yeah.
Very.
Mike, if you had to do it,
and that's his pedigree.
Mike, if you had to do it all over again, though, if you were the Panthers and you had to do it all over again, would you go Stroud or would you go Young?
Here's the thing. I think it's the environment. The environment DeMeco Ryans is putting in Houston, because we already saw the owner for the Panthers. He's a clown. He's a clown to me on that aspect. You know what I mean? So I don't think anybody's going to prosper there. But fellas, I just like what DeMeco Ryans is doing in Houston. Just the mindset he has his guys playing. Prime example. Did you see Sunday Stroud, the rookie, was amping up his offense? Guys, let's go. And they were listening and they responded. Remember when he was a rookie in Washington? I'm looking right now. I'm losing my mind, fellas. Our quarterback who had passed away, who got hit.
Haskins.
Yeah.
Same thing he tried to do in Washington as a rookie, and nobody listened, nobody clowned, because the environments. I think it has been a complete 180 with the Texans were in an environment with the owner McNair compared to what DeMeco Ryans got those boys ready to play him. And I love that environment. What he's, they're listening to the rookie. Stroud is doing well. They're not putting him in any terrible situations. I love what they're doing, man. I just think that is a great environment.
Yep.
Well, I will say this about Haskins, though. He was kind of a clown off the field. Like, I don't think he did a lot of questionable things off the field. He wasn't super dedicated. Supposedly didn't watch a ton of film. So I don't think Haskins had the respect of the team like Stroud did. I think Stroud is just a guy that commands respect. He's all about football. It's the number one priority for him.
I feel that. But then again, that also goes to where you are. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you are noob, but Mark, being a teacher, if you have a sub and the sub lets you get away with it, kids are going to act up. And he was still a kid. You know what I mean? And you're in Washington. Nobody's doing right. But I really like what he's doing in Houston. I really like what DeMeco.
I agree with that.
And I ain't gonna lie to you fellas. Go back. Who would you say are the successful in all the lineage, the successful Ohio State quarterback?
None. We talk about this quite frequently.
Okay.
You go all the way back to Art Schleister. He was trash.
Exactly.
The whole way back to Schleister. And guess what? Art Schleister won back-to-back national championships with Archie Griffin in the backfield.
Right.
They won them because Archie Griffin was in the backfield, not because Art Schleister could throw a 10-yard out.
There you go.
Schleister was all about this, though, baby.
Forgetting Tom Tupa.
Tupa.
Tom Tupa.
Hey, going back to that game, though, Sean Payton has done a hell of a job. You were talking about Russell Wilson.
Yes.
That's a direct result of Sean Payton, in my opinion, man. I
course
think Sean Payton is really helping Russ out a ton. And, Mike, I do agree with DeMeco Ryans, man. That guy is killing it. I love it. Love it what he's doing down there. With that young defense, too, they're going to be scary for a while.
God, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I agree with everything you guys are saying, but the thing that cost Denver was Russ Wilson's 3 turnovers in that game. What kept them in the game was their defense, holding them to only 300 yards, like 350 total, and keeping the Texans off the field. Those third down conversions, 4 of 16. That's pretty big. Only capitalizing or converting rather on 25% of third downs. So their Denver's defense is stepping up, is what I'm basically trying to say.
So the other piece of Denver is they don't have much of a run game currently either. Like it's not what it had become. We have become accustomed to Denver having, and they do have some guys that can carry the ball, but they're just not producing like they need them to. Big props to Russ Wilson for him and Peyton finding a place to meet, because I know early on we read it, we talked about it, we saw it. They were butting heads. Peyton told him, hey, you're going to do it this way or you're going to go. And obviously Peyton and Wilson figured it out. So, hey, let's move on to the next game. I'm going to save the Niners and Eagles for game of the week. It's going to be our last game we talk about. Let's go Lions and Saints. I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. That was a great game. If you watched any game besides, your team, that was a great game to watch. Campbell has his team at 9-3, and that was the first time back in New Orleans for Campbell. This as a coach, I still believe their defense is a little suspect. I'll tell you who impresses the shit out of me. Jared Goff really impresses me.
Yeah.
He is not the guy I watched in LA. He's not the guy that played out there. He's just not. He's not. He's a total different player for this team. Now, the one thing I don't understand about Detroit, man, maybe you can bring it a little bit to my eyes, but how does the backfield split carries when you spent a number one on a kid who actually produced significantly while number 1B, or I guess maybe he was number 1A, was out? Can anybody shed some light on that for me?
I just think it's a two back rotation. I mean, it's kind of keep them fresh. Montgomery is a more tougher runner than Gibbs is. Gibbs is an outside runner, whereas
He's a bet.
Montgomery is like up the middle. I mean, he can get to the outside, but he's more of an up the middle runner. The Lions haven't been this good. Haven't been 9-3 since 1963. I think they said it, right? At this time late in the season.
Yeah.
Wow.
And fellas, if you think about it, ideally with the coach, it's great because later in the season, neither back should be beat up because they'll both be splitting carries. On a business aspect, when it's time to renegotiate contract, neither one can ask for super duper big time money because you're not a full legit starter. You know what I mean? And if you're a two-headed system, I like it. I really do. I like it.
And Jared is not Goffle this year, and he has a lot of weapons. But I think the rookie of the year is going to be that Sam Laporta.
Sammy Laporta.
Woo! 9 catches, 140 yards for a TD. He is on fire.
Yeah, no, Hawkinson's doing the same thing, though, just so we have to understand it.
Well,
Hawkinson's a veteran.
This is
Laporta's
a rookie.
rookie.
I'm saying.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought Hawkins was a rookie.
Yeah.
Too.
Hawkinson's a veteran. Laporta's a rookie. I thought that was a fantastic move by them. And they, they're the ones who aren't they the ones who traded Hawkinson away?
Yeah.
And look at what they replaced him with. I mean, you saw that coming from Laporta in college. I mean, that was pretty evident. Laporta wasn't getting those catches early in the year until they started feeling confident in him. I've got him on a couple fantasy teams, and he carries me sometimes.
Yeah,
he really does in recent weeks.
He went to Utah?
No.
Iowa, right?
Iowa. Yeah.
Iowa.
Yep.
They got some tight ends.
Tight end U. We never had that discussion, y'all. Position U. We didn't.
Hey, go ahead.
This is the stat I like. New Orleans only used 3 quarterbacks for this game. What the hell? Taysom, Jameis, and Derek.
Derek Carr got knocked out.
Stinks, y'all.
Derek Carr is just a train wreck.
Didn't you call this game of the week last week?
He's really a train wreck.
Man, he goes from the penthouse to the outhouse quick.
Yeah. Yep. Really quick. And famous Jameis, well, he's famous Jameis.
Man. My man has been stinking like those crab legs he stole. He can't get it. He can't get right. You know what I mean?
I will say that Kamara, since he's come back from his suspension, he has looked spectacular.
Yeah.
He really has. He's everything that they wanted from him when they drafted him initially, and then some. So, hey, I know you guys don't want to talk about this, but I do. I'm not sure why, but I thought the Commanders would give the Dolphins a little bit of a fight. It was kind of a brutal game, right, Mike? Like you watched it. Give us some insight from your perspective, because Tyreek's a freak.
Honestly, go ahead.
No, we're both Mike. So
okay.
Go ahead, you go first.
I just want Mark to answer. What made you think it'd be a game?
I don't know. It was in DC, and
I can answer that.
I just thought they would play them harder in DC.
Yes, because that's been the thing for me ever since I've been here. That the Redskins beat or do well against teams they're not supposed to, and then they lose to the Cardinals like we did this past week.
Yeah.
So the big thing was getting rid of Jack Del Rio. They got rid of Del Rio going in. So they had a new D coordinator. Apparently, Ron Rivera was supposed to be a D coordinator, but I think he forgot how to call defenses. So they had somebody up in the box calling it, and then the DB's coach who just came in this week was signaling it in or calling it in, I guess, over the mic. But it was rough. And the coverage for them has been a train wreck all season. They're like 30, 31, 32, somewhere in there. It's bad. The third play of the game, Tyreek Hill deep. Like, I don't understand how you don't help over the top. Just on Tyreek. Just get help over the top.
Triple team guy.
There's no help over the top. He actually laughed about it after the game. He appreciated the fact that they didn't respect him quite as much. And he single-handedly destroyed him.
When I saw that, I said to myself, is this the D coordinator's first day ever of seeing football? Ever? Seriously, I mean, think about it. Is this your first day? You always say, don't let the superstar beat you. If a role player beats you, it is what it is. But your superstar's not getting off on me. Third play
plan for that guy. How do you not scheme up for stopping Tyreek Hill? At least keeping him under 100 yards. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get his.
They can't. They got a history of it this year. They gave up 200 yards to DJ Moore, 100 to AJ Brown. What makes you think they're going to stop Tyreek Hill?
Man,
just try something. But on that first play, Jalen Waddle was on the other side, 5 yards behind the coverage. Like, they had two guys wide open. I just don't.
Man.
Did you see Jalen Waddle's touchdown celebration? It was the best ever.
That was
the best ever. So he scores that touchdown. He hands the ball to a lineman, and the lineman takes the ball and goes like this with it, like he wound him up, and he just did some little thing like he was a wind-up thing.
It was
I
awesome.
thought you had Tyreek's is pretty awesome too. They all got in line. They put their arm up, and then they put their seatbelt across, and then they all went. They were on like a roller coaster ride. It was a whole lineup. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Oh, that was a good one. Really good.
I root for a team that doesn't score many touchdowns, so I don't see many celebrations like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Those three wide receivers scored 360 yards. It took the Steelers 56 games to get that many yards.
Oh, man. Hey, UGLY, they ain't got no alibi. Guess what game I want to talk about now?
Oh, we don't want to talk about it, so you can talk all you want. The Steelers suck.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I'm wearing Coach T's shirt here. He sent these out, and I just wanted to thank him for it. His final season. Everyone sees it.
We could only be so lucky. Rasheem wants to trade him to Carolina. Noob says we should appreciate him because he's a 500 coach. Mikey wants to go cut his throat. And myself, I don't ever want to see his face on TV again in the Steelers shirt.
Mark,
okay, I'm done with that dude.
Mark, but remember, I had text you and Mike Doc, and I said at beginning of the season, I said if Tomlin doesn't go deep into the playoffs with this talent, I thought he was going to be gone. And again, I go into work preseason. I'm talking big noise. My Steelers kicking ass, taking names. My Steelers doing this. My Steelers doing that. You saw them in preseason. Never thought, wow, that was our first unit going against guys that weren't going to be on rosters or third teamers. So they come to first season and they got beat like they stole something. I understand it was San Fran, but they were at least home. And I was like, this is not going to be good. And the offense, I mean, it's just fellas.
You know what's interesting to me, though? They let Pickett fling it around in the preseason because they knew those games didn't mean anything. Then they get to regular season and mediocre Mike says, hey, no, we ain't doing that. We're going to throw outs. We're going to do dump passes.
Hold on. But again, it was our first team going against other teams, third team guys, and guys that weren't going to be on the roster.
True.
So, of course, the guys were open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Here's my thing real quick, fellas, because I want to ask this. I'm asking questions just like the normal day guy. Okay. For 3 years, we have seen this offense be terrible. I mean, just terrible, deplorable. Okay. But year again, I know me personally, I go in this year, they're going to look better, whatever have you. Do you think the coaches know or not? Because I was at the first fire Canada. I was that way too, right? However, then I stopped and thought, do you think Canada knew we don't have any talent to open it up, to do trick plays, whatever it is? Do you think he knew that? I mean, what could it be? Fellas, we've had multiple quarterbacks, whether it was Duck, whether it was Mason, whether it was Pickett, whether it was Trubisky, the same offense. He wasn't opening up. He wasn't doing trick plays and nothing. I mean, what would make him stay with the same vanilla playbook? 4 different quarterbacks, regardless, 3 different seasons, multiple quarterbacks. What is it?
It's the head coach. In my opinion, I'm sorry if I cut everybody off there, but I got to chime in here. The head coach has to have complete and utter control of everything going on. He needs yes men in his meeting room. He's got to have yes men. If you're not a yes man, he's not hiring you. To me, the head coach has the final say. He puts the stamp on the offensive game plan, the stamp on the defensive game plan. He gets the thumbs up on whatever you're calling for your special teams. It's the head coach. It's not a gray area.
Okay, hold on, because I want to say one more thing, because I want everybody to chime in 2 part. Okay, so that was my question. Why does he think whatever? Second part, I hear a lot of people not talk. Well, the Rooneys have more pull than you think. The Rooneys have more pull than you think. Hold on. Now, if that be the case, then you would assume they did the same thing when Cowher was there. If they would have kept the same mindset, people born around don't die square. So if they had the run and they put their fingerprint on it when Cowher was there, the teams did what they needed to do. Cowher did what he needed to do. If the same owners are doing the same thing with Tomlin and we're seeing something completely different, is it the Rooneys? Is it Tomlin? What is it?
Different owner. Same owner, family, different.
Same family name. I get that same family name, but I mean, oh man,
this knucklehead here, I don't know what he's doing.
That's it right there, Sizzle. That's it. It's the wrong Rooney owner.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you what Ike Taylor told me off the record, off camera, when I interviewed Ike Taylor over a year ago. Ike said to me, he said, this owner is a lawyer. He's not really deep into what's going on in this organization. When his son becomes the guy who's in charge of the Steelers, it will go back to the way his grandfather and great-grandfather had it. Okay? Here's Cowher's numbers for you, okay? 92, 11-5, lost to Buffalo in the playoffs. 93, 9-7, lost to Kansas City in the playoffs. 94, 12-4, lost to San Diego in the AFC Championship game. I was never so drunk in my life.
That hurt. That one hurt.
95, 11-5, lost to Dallas in the Super Bowl. Larry Brown, baby. 96, 10-6, lost to New England in the playoffs. 97, 11-5, lost to Denver in the AFC Championship game. He had 3 years then, 98, 99, and 2000, where he was 7-9, 6-10, and he had a 500 season. So he really only had 2 seasons under 500. Now, let me finish this. 2001, 10-5, lost to New England in the AFC Championship game. 2002, 10-5-1, lost to Tennessee in the NFC Championship game. Then he went back to 6-10 in 03, 04, 15-1, lost to New England in the AFC Championship game when they stole the Steelers' signals initially, and then he won a Super Bowl in 05.
No, that's when we fumbled on the goal line, but which wasn't a fumble.
So at the end of the day, his record, when people want to compare what this guy did to what Tomlin's doing, it's not even close.
But we talked about this.
Yeah.
We did. We said let's go down the position versus. You got Roethlisberger versus Pickett. You got Bussy. You got Bussy versus Harris. I mean, you got listen, Minka Fitzpatrick is good, but he's no Troy Polamalu.
He could play with Troy.
No.
Most importantly, look at the O-line. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Here's awful. When they won the Super Bowl, they had Flozell Adams at left tackle.
Listen,
they lost their left tackle, and they signed Flozell Adams.
And there's a lack of leadership too. Remember, did y'all hear that story way back when Lloyd was there out in San Diego? They're getting mopped around on the field out there. They come in, there's water, the water table. People are getting water like they done did something. They said Greg Lloyd knocked the whole table down. Nobody gets water. You know what I'm saying? You don't have leaders. There's no leader. Who's the leader? Hayward?
Well, if Hayward's the leader, he's not calling out the people that are not doing their job. You know, right. he right away when guys were saying, "Hey, look, we weren't prepared for this game," Hayward said, "No, we were prepared. We just didn't play well." That's what Hayward did.
And Greg was afraid to call people out. Hell no. Hell no.
They didn't care. Yeah.
No.
See, and I'm with you on that, calling people out. I personally, again, have always had an issue when they say the leader, and I say that, but here's why: because these are grown men. You play a physical sport. If you are not prepared, if you're center, if the guard is not prepared beside you, let him get his ass whipped. You, the center, do whatever you need to do every day so you don't get your tail whipped. And to me, you don't need a leader for that. We are growing. This is how we pay. This is how we pay our bills. This is how we feed our families. Why are you going out and letting this guy on national TV whip your ass from goal line to goal line, and we see it?
We 99-yard drive.
90 yards.
Hey,
99
yards.
Hey, Mark, I need you to get the contract ready for this guy. I like this.
Man, fellas, you understand, man. Listen, Mark, I don't even know if Mark remembers this. Mark, you got to go back. You're playing senior league, but you guys, Terri would remember. There, you played though in the Kiski Field in Davis Field.
Yeah.
Okay. You were in senior league. I'm on the Cardinals. I'm in practice. You came in. You were a catcher. But you came in and you wanted to pitch a little bit. You were sitting there talking to Wachowski, some other guys, and you start pitching.
He can't.
Now, Mark's a few years older. He's throwing heat. It's practice. He's throwing heat. I'll never forget. I was best hitter on the team. So you want to pitch me. He's throwing heat. You know how to throw curves. Oh, I didn't know anything about that. So I can't hit him. I'm like, Mark, come on, man. We don't see this in the league. I'll never forget. You may not even remember. He said, he's always called me Mikey. Mikey, if you can hit this, you'll hit anything with these 10 to 12-year-olds. So he keeps throwing heat, right? I'm getting more mad. I don't hit anything. That's the generation I came from. He didn't slow down. You probably don't even remember. You were walking, so you had to go past that field to get to, whatever, to your practice. He probably didn't even remember it. I'll never forget it. And he's throwing heat, pitching bad in practice. I, fouled him off, never got a good hit. But that's where I was from. You take accountability for yourself. It doesn't get easy. Either you get it done or you don't. This to me nowadays, fellas, again, one of the things that I hate the most, offenses now, we don't want to leave the other team enough time to score. There used to be a time when the defense said, I don't care how much time you guys score. You pay me to stop them from scoring. You would take that as a slap in the face that you don't want us to go back on the field. Not one D coordinator, not one defensive guy takes that as a slap in the face. I've never heard anybody say, let him score. I don't care if he scores because we get paid to stop you. We like stop. Fellas.
They didn't stop anyone this week. They got 10 of 12 on third down conversions. The freaking 2 and 10 Cardinals were 10 of 12 on third down conversions. They weren't bucking up. No one was flipping water tables. They were saying, please don't give us enough time so our offense can get the ball back because we ain't scoring either. That was tremendous. That was a terrible game.
I think some of that mentality is the rules too. Just you can't be vicious on defense anymore.
And I get you can't be ignorant and you can't be whatever, but you can cover your guy. These guys now make one stop and they do that. I'm a seatbelt. You're not a shutdown corner. Nobody was less physical than Dion. He was a shutdown corner.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Real talk.
Yeah, good point.
And if you look at some of the shutdown corners, whomever it was, Revis, wherever you went, he was going with you. You got a hot dog, he put ketchup on it. He didn't care. He wasn't trying to knock your head off. Dion, he wasn't trying to knock your head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These guys now, man, it's hard, fellas. I love my Steelers, but it's hard for me to watch a lot of other games. I love them
too. I'm ready to get in a transfer
for years, just like it's been hard for noobs to watch his Washington Redskins for years. But the difference is they're in a transition where they've got new ownership. They're going to have a new head coach, and I think your Washington Redskins are going to make some difference coming forward. The Steelers are not going to do that until they decide they're going to cut ties with the guy who's mediocre.
We're going to trade Tomlin to the Commanders.
Yes. And we're going to take the offensive coordinator. Woo! Let's go. Next game.
He's going to end up with the Bears. That's today's. Hey, let's move on from these asshats and mediocre, Mike. Let's go ahead and go 49ers and Eagles. I've been telling you guys, I know I said this, noobs. I told you the other day. I said the Eagles are going to be the first team knocked out of the playoffs in that, they don't impress me. I'm sorry. And I have a kid in my class. He comes in, he's part of the All-22 club. And I've got a bunch of, there's like 3 or 4 of them. One kid's dad buys the All-22 and they come in and they put it up on the big screen on Tuesdays and we watch a couple of games. I said to the boy today, and he's a diehard, his family's diehard. And I said, your Eagles are going to get knocked out early in the playoffs. because they are just getting the breaks and skidding by some of these teams. I said, unless they go into Dallas this week and really make a statement, I'm not sold on them. Okay. And the Niners, the Niners kind of, to me, refound themselves when they got Deebo Samuel back. And I know we've talked about this too before. When they got Deebo Samuel back, look out. Look out. He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
So something that
East.
nobody talks about with Philadelphia is they lost both their coordinators. Like, that's a big deal. Those guys are both really good. They're missing something offensively, defensively. They seem like you said, they barely get a first down. They barely get by, do just enough at the end of the game. They come back and just score at the end, just enough to win. They are definitely not winning convincingly. I agree with you 100%.
Well,
I watched the Steelers team do this when they were 11-0.
The only thing they're missing is Big Dom, the security guard, because not even him could help pull that win out. I was buying into the Eagles. I thought that they beat the Cowboys, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Bills, who are wishy-washy, and they beat the Chiefs. Those are some top-tier teams. I didn't think they were going to get smacked in the mouth like they did with the Niners. The Niners, they dropped like 3 in a row, and then they were coming back. I think they're in full effect. I think they're ready for the playoffs.
Ever since they got their bye week, the Niners have been El Fuego. Purdy got healthy. Deebo Samuels came back, and they've got their full complement of healthy weapons, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Although I didn't see much from your boy there, Mike, Chase Williams.
There's not much to see. I saw him laying on the ground. Did you see him laying on the ground in the middle of the play?
He is what he is. He's not going to get a contract.
That was Albert Hainsworth like. He was laying on the ground. The ball went all the way across the other side. He's still laying on the ground. And then it got passed in front of him. He's still laying on the ground. And then he finally got up and started walking in the middle of a play. An NFL football player walking on the football field in the middle of a defensive play.
He must have missed Deontay Johnson last week.
Anyway, I was about to say that's commonplace nowadays. That's commonplace. Hustle is a 4-letter word to a lot of these pros nowadays. Yep. It's ridiculous. Fellas, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here's how I took the Eagles' loss. NFL any given Sunday. Because to me, even when they lost 3, I thought the 49ers were rolling, and then they lose 3 in a row, right? And like you said, they lost both their coordinators, but they're still winning. Is the old Dom Toretto said in the original, whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. And they were winning, right? Mark, I don't look at it the same as our Steelers when they were 11-0, because we didn't feel good about anything. And to me, though, the Eagles I thought they looked good, and not great, but I thought they looked good in some of their games. You know what I mean?
I will say for the Eagles, both sides of the ball up front, what matters the most is very dominant. I think if there's a rematch between San Francisco and the Eagles in a playoff game, that will be a different story. I just think the elements of the Eagles and
it won't matter where they play. I think that'll matter where they play. Absolutely. Hypothetically, if something shakes out, Eagles going to skid in this game, that rematch is played in California. I think it goes to the 49ers. We can get it. They can get it here in Philly, get it in Philly in the playoffs, late January, whatever have you. I think
this game was in Philly this week, though, right?
Yeah, but like I said, you're 9-1.
Right.
How many? 9-1 in the NFL by week 10, fellas? We don't see that a lot. In college, where you can see
they
the
were
great
actually 11-1. It's week 13. They were 11-1.
There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
hey, Noob, let me ask you this. Noob, let me ask you this: Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts right now in the season?
I'll take Jalen Hurts all day.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Purdy has good numbers. I think some of that's related to his coordinator. I like Hurts. I'm a Hurts fan.
Dude, Shanahan he hasn't won the rings, but you can talk about Shanahan in a lot of ways. I'm not comparing him to Belichick in his heyday. However, what I'm saying is everything Shanahan is doing is working, regardless of who his quarterback was, whatever he's doing, whatever moves he's making, it's working. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter to me the environment he's got out west. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Like Purdy, where'd Purdy go? 8-9-0 when he started? Fellas, man, geez, Lou. And I think that's just, I don't know.
Imagine Hurts playing in San Francisco. How scary would that be?
Man.
I think Hurts is more dynamic, has more talent, has more to his game. But he has 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, whereas
Those picks.
Purdy has 23 touchdowns and only 6 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Tell him, Sizzle.
How many rushing touchdowns does he have, though?
Who, Purdy?
Yes.
1.
Yeah.
Compared to Hurts has how many?
More than 1.
Yeah.
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 I guarantee you it might be
More than
double
one.
digits. He's got a
More than
shit
one.
ton. How many he got?
It'll definitely be interesting. It'll be interesting.
I
See
like
how
how
it
many
shakes
he's
out.
got.
Go to your corner.
Next week's game, I kind of cut this shit down a little bit, man. I cut it down to 5 teams we will talk about next week. I took Jaguars, Browns, Hawks, and Niners, Bills and Chiefs, Eagles and Cowboys, and of course, because most of us are Steelers fans, Patriots and Steelers. But also, because I don't think the Steelers are going to win that game. Anyway, let's do our picks. Jaguars and Browns. Who you got, Rasheen?
I got the Jags.
Right? Youngie?
Jags it is.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Is Goldilocks, is he going to be
We
playing?
don't know yet.
Ah.
High ankle sprain. We don't know.
I don't know. I'll
Jags.
still take him. I'll still take Bethard.
Yeah.
You look better.
Who you got?
I'm going Browns.
Okay.
He always got
Chops?
to be difficult.
Who you like?
Did you watch that
Jags.
cluster? That
Jags.
clusterfuck last night. It's awful.
I'm going to go Jags. I think they have more.
See?
They're a
See,
little bit
dudes?
more dynamic. Hey,
Always.
let's go next game.
Not last
Hawks
night.
and Niners. Seahawks are at the 49ers.
I got
Anybody
this.
taking the Seahawks? Let me ask you this. Anybody taking the Seahawks?
Noobs.
No.
It's
Not
across
bad.
the board. It's across the board. All right. Next game. This is kind of interesting because the Bills are, I think both of these teams are kind of evenly matched right now, Bills and Chiefs. The
Bills.
Chiefs are not the Chiefs that we've seen
Nope.
in years before. Who you like? Bills are going to the Chiefs.
Bills.
Okay. You see? Let me hear it. Young?
I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going to go with Chiefs. You know, they're coming off that hangover, upset by the pack, and
Come on, dude.
they're going to give it right back.
Come on, noobs.
Interesting.
Come on, noobs.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bills. I just have a weird feeling on this.
Jones is going to have a strip sack. It's going to be the difference. He's going to
I'm
have a
going
strip
Bills
sack.
because I think that Allen is just Josh Allen's just I don't know. He almost took that team on his back a couple weeks ago against the Eagles and just led them to a victory. He did everything he possibly could against the Eagles.
Yeah.
You know,
But they have no defense. They suck. Chops, who you got?
I'm going to
He
go.
did.
I'm going
He
to
gave
go
me Chiefs.
Chiefs. I think
Yeah.
Jones is going to have a strip sack. That's going to be the difference.
Chiefs.
Hey,
Gotcha.
let's go Eagles Cowboys. This is a big one. This is the game of the week for us.
Go ahead, noobs.
Do we get
I'll go
extra-
Eagles.
I'm with noobs. Eagles. Giant
Yeah.
eagle.
They're going to be fighting mad. They're coming. Yeah. I'm going
I got Eagles. Young, who you got?
Yeah, good thing we're not at the bar because you guys are convincing. Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. They are going to be pissed. And I don't think Dallas is that good, boys. I
No.
just don't.
No.
If
no.
you looked at who they played to get to that record,
Did you-
last
they-
one,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the Thursday night special, the one that everybody's going to go to sleep on.
Ooh, the battle of
Patriots.
the beatables.
The Patriots visit the Steelers.
Hey,
Go.
Steelers are getting 5.5, I think.
I'm going with the
They're given
Steelers.
5.5.
Yeah. Yeah. The Patriots offense is terrible. Would they lose 3 games where their defense only gave up 10 points and they still lost?
Guess
Who's
what?
right?
Steelers can't score 10 points.
Who ride? I ride. Who ride? I ride.
You got the Steelers, Rasheen?
Yes, that's I do.
Oh, without question. Without question. I'm going to listen, fellas. And I'm going to be geeked and I'm going to be ready, Freddy, for kickoff. And then I'm going to want to put my foot through the TV like I do every week when it's over. Then the following week, I'm going to be ready, Freddy, for kickoff.
TV.
And want to throw a brick through that summer gun at the end of the game again.
Trubisky's going to show why he is.
Are we going with our heart or our head? What do you guys got?
Young, go ahead. Those
Steelers.
guys got the Steelers.
Steelers.
I got you, Obi-Wan. Noobs, who you like?
I'm going Steelers. New England needs that early pick. They're trying to get that top pick there. Right. Yeah, first, second pick.
Young, who you like?
I'll still take the Steelers. What the hell? I said them 3 times. Come on, man.
I'm taking
says, who you got?
I'm taking the Patriots. I think this team is in shambles. And when some of your star players come forward and say you were not prepared to play your previous game against a 2-10 team, I think the locker room has been lost. And this isn't the first time star players have come forward and said this.
Who's the star player you're talking about?
Deontay Johnson came forward and said it.
He's a star?
Jalen Warren, who has become a star player. He's your best running back.
Wait,
Warren's
then I would
nice,
say
but he's
this.
not a star.
Real quick, though. Again, being as grown men, Warren, if you knew they weren't ready, Deontay, I don't know if I really want to listen to you because I saw the effort you gave on a lot of plays last week and how you were upset to win. I understand you were upset because you wanted to win. However,
Najee said it.
fellas, if you knew that your guys weren't ready, were you kicking ass? Were you putting foot to ass in practice the week before? Because don't talk about how you knew it now, but you didn't then. You know what I'm saying?
So here's what happens in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is what I read. Okay, this is what was disclosed. Tomlin does not fire these guys up, per se, against a team like the Cardinals. He lets the veterans take care of business because they know what it means, and the rookies have no idea what it's like to play a team that low after you come off a big win against a division opponent. This is what I read. And the leaders of the veteran leaders did not get into the rookies, and you weren't getting the effort that they needed. And they were a very young team. And this is what I read today, because I was very curious about where they were mentally. Remember, this is only Tuesday. We're only 2 days removed from that ass whooping.
Fellas, and then I look at you have extreme. Put my name on an X like Malcolm. Listen, man, what? Here's my thing though.
That's your
On defense, on offense. Let's go defense. You have stars, veterans, high quality players at every level. Even though Minka was hurt, you had Minka. You got him at every level. You need to be at your position in every meeting, every practice, and letting those guys know, like you said. And if that's Tomlin's job, if he lets the veterans handle that, then. Because again, you're men. You shouldn't need another grown man. To me, like I said, that what do they say that he gave us locker room talk. He gave us dude. You don't need that to get fired up. Because if you come into this game not fired up, you get your ass kicked. You saw what happened. And to me, fellas, if you knew you weren't ready, forget about the coach. If you need to have a team only meeting, do what you need to do. Or players only meeting, do what you need to do. But don't talk about how we weren't ready. Because to me, that makes you're giving me a whole lot of excuses and not any reasons. If you knew,
Mikey, it's the culture. It's the culture that was built in Pittsburgh now.
It's everywhere, though, Mark. Nobody's ever been coddled to greatness. But you can't dig in anybody's ass because now you're offending them. You're, whatever have you. You can't have both. You can't
try being a teacher.
I couldn't imagine what you guys go through. I'd say, man, forget about it.
It's everywhere. You're right. Bieniemy got in trouble for yelling at his players. They were complaining.
Yeah.
This summer, they were he's too hard on us.
Fellas, when I heard that, I was like, I know I'm being punked. There's no way they said that. There's no way they said that. I could have. Fellas, real quick, 10 seconds. Did you see the Louisville freshman who sat out first half a game last week? And they said to coach, why did he sit out? You didn't play him. He said, you want to know the reason? Because he couldn't find his tights. He didn't feel he could play if he didn't have the right tights on. And then the coach said, that's what young people do nowadays. He couldn't dig in that dude's ass, but you're telling me because of tights is why you can't play? This school was paying. Fellas, I'm telling you, Lord knew what he was doing by putting me in a different generation. I'm telling you now.
That was the ACC championship?
No, it was a basketball player. Basketball player said he was a freshman basketball player for Louisville. He didn't have the right tights, so he sat out the first half.
Yep.
Why are you wearing tights in basketball anyway?
It is what it is.
You wear the tight shorts under your shorts, so you jiggle, don't jiggle. Pause.
Yeah, that's called a jock strap. Next.
Hey, Hey,
Look
look,
good,
any
play good,
dental makes you
T-Sizzle.
pull it out, show it. That was it. You got your 5 points. Anyway,
Hey, if we didn't come out of the locker room wet, we didn't get our points. We didn't get a shower.
Yeah.
that was it. Eddie came in looking too, baby. Eddie D. Hey, we're moving on. We're moving on. College football playoffs. Thank God this is the last year we only see 4 teams doing this. We've got Michigan versus Alabama, 1 versus 4. Then we've got Washington versus Texas. I don't want predictions, man. That's not where I'm at. What I want to know is, number 1, Ohio State was pissed off. Do they have a beef?
No. Go ahead, Rasheed.
Ohio State, no. Georgia and Bama, yes.
Bama's
Definitely Georgia. I hate all things Georgia. I hate the dogs. I hate them, but I got to keep it at 100. They are one of the best 4 teams in the country.
Is it the best 4 teams or the most deserving 4 teams?
To me, when you say the most deserving, now we're in participation trophies, and I hate that's to me. And I love Florida State. I've loved Florida State since Peter Tom Willis, but that is a participation trophy, Jack.
Did he just fucking drop Peter Tom Willis on us?
Yes, he did.
Oh my God!
Back in the day.
Noobs. Peter
Bama, yes.
Willis.
Is that 3 different
Great
guys?
pull. That's a hell of a pull. Hey, I see both sides. Like, if you're Florida State, aren't you just irate and pissed? Like, you're like, we just won every goddamn game we played.
Yeah, that was
As an athlete, you have to know your conferences. You have to know. You may not admit it on TV, but you have to know, fellas. We want to go in hype against Bama, but only our mamas believe we can beat Bama.
Dude, that's like say if that was Pitt, they went 12-0 in the ACC. I'm like, you're not better than Georgia, you're not better than Bama, you're not better than Ohio State.
Does this hurt them in the portal? Does this hurt the ACC in the portal?
Absolutely.
Everyone's
100%.
Pitt, so.
Well, now that everybody's going Big Ten and SEC anyway, it's going to come down to those 2 conferences regardless. I mean,
we're just getting leftovers now, baby.
But the thing, I think besides the fact of the conference they're in, the fact that Travis is hurt, the quarterback's hurt.
Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
But you can't blame it on that because they won games without him.
Yeah.
They won games without him.
It was ugly.
If they'd have played that freshman against Bama, Georgia, you lose.
They got wiped out.
Easily.
I'd rather have them play that freshman and lose that game because they deserve to be there. They ran the gauntlet.
I thought it was supposed to be the 4 best teams, no?
It's tricky. I like it because the more controversy, the better. Now I'm glad we're getting to 12 teams. You know what I mean? But I want the 4 best teams.
Texas in the Big 10 is it deserving, or Big 12? They're in the Big 12, right? You think Texas in the Big 12 is deserving?
No.
They beat Alabama though.
Yes.
Early in the season.
They're 2 different. They did beat them, but they're different teams. They did beat them. They did.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who are the 4 best teams right now?
That was my next question.
Ewers is good.
Hey,
Georgia,
Michigan got to be the top dog.
Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and then who?
Washington.
I know.
It's got to be Washington.
I give you Washington.
They don't play defense in the Pac-12. That's my only issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's my only.
They hell a lot of offense, and that guy's a gunslinger. He can throw.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this then, Mikey. Is Penix better than Caleb Williams?
Here's my thing.
Okay,
I'm
you're at the
saying
top of the draft. You got number 1. You won 1. Who do you take? Do you take Caleb the crybaby, or do you take Penix?
I know. But, well, let's put it this way. Jeez, Lou. I'll be honest with you. To me, Penix, when he was at Indiana, he was mediocre at best. He goes out to Washington and Pac-12. He's the golden arm. So geez, Lou. Penix to me has touch, but I don't see a rifle in him.
I'm taking
with your boy Williams. He has the arm, but he's too emotional, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. To me, you flip a coin if you're taking them. I don't.
Mike, I'd have beat your ass if you lost the game and went and cried to Carol.
Oh my dad would have done it. My dad would have done it. Oh,
same with Bobby. Mikey had a brother, Bobby. Mikey has a brother, Bobby. He was legit, man. Legit running back. But yeah.
Went out to Arizona.
I personally like Penix because he has more touch. He may not have the rifle, but he has
He
more
does
touch.
have touch. He does have touch.
He has more touch.
He does have
You know,
touch, man.
I think the deal with Caleb Williams, and I who am I? I'm nobody, but I do not like his lack of maturity. And it goes always back to what he did last year in the bowl game. Now he's sitting out the Holiday Bowl. Whatever. You do you, okay, son? You do you. But there's a lot of things about him that don't impress me from a maturity and character standpoint. And if I'm bringing in a guy to run my team as a franchise guy, 1-1, I need a guy who's coming in ready to do that right off the bat, and he's going to be respected the day he's drafted. I don't know if that kid's him.
I think he's going to do okay. I just don't think he's, the generational talent that people are saying. I think he's going to do well in the NFL.
Fellas, there's defense in the NFL. Not much these days anymore. You guys giving receivers 12, 15-yard cushions. I mean, ridiculous. But
no, you're watching the wrong teams.
That's the Steelers.
He just let's put it this way. The fact that he started crying to his mom, that hit me wrong. Then you cried so much longer, hit me wrong. 2 strikes. What struck him out was when he showered, had a time to think about it, and said, I just want to go home and cuddle with my dogs. What did you say? I just want to go home and cuddle with my dogs? Are you kidding me? That's on the internet forever. That's on the internet forever.
Hey, Noobs, did you see the kid from Georgia, the big tight end, the kid who struggled with injury but is the top dog? What's his name?
Bowers. Yeah, Bowers.
Did you see the picture of that boy an hour after the game walking out of the locker room to go see his family? He was limping. His face was all busted up. He didn't cry. He didn't pout. Georgia just lost probably a chance at a 3rd straight championship.
Mark,
that's maturity right there.
And you call it maturity. I call it lack of. He's not selfish, and I say that because of this. Williams was also in the Heisman race until he lost. He felt he lost the Heisman. He's crying. I want to go home and chill with my dogs. I'm crying. He is sitting out the Holiday Bowl. Well, it's not a major bowl, but if he'd have been going to a major bowl, that's worth playing. But he doesn't think the Holiday Bowl is worth being there for his team. Bowers is not selfish. Caleb Williams, to me, just is. He just is. That's how I look at it, man. That's how I look at it. But again,
I don't want him under center for me. If I'm looking at the whole complexion of all these guys, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, those guys.
Well, Nix.
Yes, he is very good. There's no doubt about it. Noobs, we heard what's his name, Patrick, say to us a week or so ago about how he's the greatest high school quarterback he's ever seen play. But being a great player
in high school
and being a great leader are two
without question
things.
Without question.
Different things.
Hey, Noob said that Georgia may not get their 3rd championship. They're not in it, so they're not going to get it.
They're out.
I said that.
Okay, so they're not going to get it.
I said that.
No,
okay,
I said that.
Hey,
let's move on a little bit here. 3 bowl games that we think, as a cohesive unit, that are must-watches. 3 bowl games.
Oh, fellas, I mean, I'm definitely looking at of course, the BC. I still call it the BCS, but the Bowl Championship Series. I want to see those. The first rounds of those. Texas, was it Texas and Washington? Now it stinks because Michigan, Alabama. I think that game is going to be better than the championship game. To me, I think that's going to be better than the championship game.
Yeah,
not always. Semis are always.
I'm really hoping, since they're young, Bowers isn't going to play, but I'm really hoping a lot of the dogs play. And as much as I'm a Florida State guy, I just want them to slap Florida State because I want them to show this is what would have happened. Fellas, and let's not forget, everybody likes to say they like the Cinderella story, but in hoops, and I understand it's a different sport, but in hoops last year, when San Diego State played UConn for this chip, lowest watched championship game ever. A lot of people didn't think TCU belonged there last year, even though they did beat Michigan, didn't think they belonged there. And then they got smacked by Georgia. I don't know if the selection team thought about that. I don't know. I really don't know why they left Florida State out. I mean, I'm thinking because they don't think they're one of the 4 best teams. But I don't know if they were shy about that. But I'm looking forward to Georgia Florida State. I'm not a Georgia guy, but in this case, I'm hoping Georgia wins by 3 TDs. I really do.
They probably will. I agree. I think it could get.
I'm hoping they go in good and pissed.
I want to see Penn State with their new coordinator against Ole Miss.
Yes, I just circled that with the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah.
North Carolina and West Virginia.
Oh, you got to go with the Mayo Bowl. And that's the most disgusting team that wins eats that mayonnaise. Oh, God.
That's just terrible.
But
terrible.
I think West Virginia actually had a pretty solid season when Neil Brown was under fire. He lost a lot of guys in the porthole last year, and they had a hell of a season at the end of the day. In North Carolina, I mean, Drake May's making his day. I mean, this is it. This is it. He's going to go in there, and he's either going to prove himself and be, one of the top two, which they're saying he is, or,
Sheen,
who knows?
hold on, Sheen, do you think in 30 days, 6 weeks, whatever it is, do you think the offensive coordinator will make that much the coordinator will make that much of a difference for Penn State?
No, I don't. Well, honestly, I don't even know if he's going to be calling the plays, to be honest with you. But so I went to Penn State, Michigan, up at Happy Valley, and they never threw the ball deep.
I know.
Not once at all. Not once. I don't even think he threw it over 15 yards ever. I just want to see if they're going to do that. They're going to put that in.
I got you. Let me ask you this: since you're a Penn State guy, real quick.
No.
Well, you went to see them in the bowl. You went to the Penn State, Michigan.
He's a
Where's your squad? Penn State.
He's a Pitt guy.
I'm Pitt. I went up to Penn State. My brother is friends with one of the coaches up there.
He knows who he is.
I just want to see what it was like.
I got you. Okay, what do you think about Franklin? Can't beat Michigan, can't beat Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess this isn't off the record because I'm saying it here, but I've heard that they're happy as long as they're going. They're going to these good bowls. I guess the Peach Bowl, the Capital One Bowl, whatever bowl they've been going to. They're good with that.
Man,
is that like you coach 16, 17 games and you win 8 or 9? You have a 500 record. You're good with that? Is that what you're saying?
Listen,
is that a trend going on up there in Western or in Pennsylvania?
Hey, look, they're filling that stadium with 110,000 people wearing white clothing and screaming, Joe Pa. All right, and that's the end of it. It doesn't matter whether I think it matters, but it doesn't. Okay. Hey, I'm going to give you a couple of bowl games. LSU versus Wisconsin. I really want to see Jalen Daniels. That boy can play ball. Now, if there's a guy I'm looking at, that's a guy I'm looking at. I like that kid. I hope he wins the Heisman. He's got the full thing going on there, in my opinion. I really like that kid. And the other bowl I'm looking at is just a travesty in the Fiesta Bowl, and I can't believe they put this together. Oregon is playing Liberty.
I know.
How ridiculous is that?
That's bizarre. 8 versus 23, and just Oregon versus Liberty.
It's not even so much 8 versus 23.
Right,
You're talking about two totally different levels of talent.
They can put Malik Willis back, let him play, they'd still beat him.
Man.
That's like one of those games you get like the first week of the season. The team pays like $500,000 to come out and get their
That's a stat game. That is a stat game for Bo Nix. That's a stat game.
Played JMU. That's who they should have played.
Yeah, I agree.
Not the highest state, the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State and Missouri.
Listen, Missouri's not bad.
No.
They got a good defense.
Yeah.
They do have a good defense.
Yeah.
I heard, and I don't know, this is kind of off of where we are, but I heard Kirk Ferentz is walking away from Iowa this year. This is it for him.
Wow. He's been there a long time.
He has been there a long time. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Did you know that? Kirk Ferentz? Yep.
That's why they did the uniform set that way, right? Isn't that why they did their uniforms?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
They had them before him.
What about our Terps?
The Terps going down to play Tennessee.
Tennessee. Auburn Tigers.
Ooh, oh, that's right. Oh, SEC versus Turf.
Music City Bowl.
Hey, what do you? Yeah, there you go. There's your Music City right there.
Hey, where we at, Chauncey's? Let's go.
What do you think, Mike?
Jesus.
Wow, he would throw back on that. I'm liking the beat. I'm liking the beat.
Hey, I
A lot
told
better
y'all,
than Andre 3000 to me.
I told y'all
Hey.
my Eric Green. I told y'all my Eric Green story, right?
I went there for ladies' night. It was 2 for 1. I thought they were talking about two women for one guy, and they said no drinks, sir. I said, shit, I'm out.
Every week, Mikey, this is what we get, and he's not even drinking tonight. Imagine that. Or at
How
least
you
we
know?
haven't seen anything go up. Hey, Mikey,
Coffee.
Big Mike, Coach Noob,
Yeah.
can the Terps make a run at Auburn?
I don't see it happening unless Auburn has a lot of guys sit out. Like, I don't know how many guys jumped in the portal for Auburn, but Maryland had quite a few important ones. So I don't see it happening. What do you think?
I'd like to see Caden get one more touchdown this year. He leads the receivers in touchdowns, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs that. And hopefully they bring in a quarterback that knows how to play the game, not Tagovailoa, because he's garbage.
Man.
He's okay. He's an okay college quarterback, but he's not his brother. He's not even close to his brother. You know. Yeah, as my guy Rasheen says, he's a bum. You know, he's a bum. So, all right, we're moving on after that nice little Chauncey dance. 2 for 1, 2 women, 1 guy. All right, we're moving on. NFL playoffs, man. Here we go. Dolphins, Ravens, Jaguars, Chiefs, Steelers, Colts, Browns. That's your tops right now. They're in it in the AFC. Your bubble teams in the AFC, Texans, Broncos, Bills, Bengals, and Chargers. Who's going to get knocked out?
Steelers. I hate to
Steelers
say
getting
it,
knocked
but
out?
Browns.
Browns going to get
Man.
knocked out? Who else? Anybody? Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence?
I got Browns too.
Noobs, who do you think?
Well, your bubble teams, the only team I like, maybe the Texans and maybe the Broncos, but the Bills are struggling for some reason. The Bengals are a mess. The Bengals came back and won last night, but I don't know if it looks good for them. And then the Chargers are awful this year.
I'd have to agree with the Bengals not looking good, but that Browning looked great last night. He was
Jake Browning.
37 for about 350 yards, and what do you have, 2 touchdowns or touchdown or something?
Yeah, he
You know what
he had
they
a hell of
say?
a night.
Zach Taylor pulled him aside before they walked down the field and said, just let it fly, kid. Just let it fly.
Yeah, I didn't realize
Zach
Taylor's
We're not
brother,
worried. He said, we're not worried about turnovers. Just let it fly.
Zach Taylor's brother was calling plays for the other team. I didn't realize that.
Interesting.
I don't like the Jaguars. Did you guys watch them last night? I thought the Jaguars looked kind of off.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are they missing? What's that team missing? Because there's no consistency with them, even when Lawrence is playing. What's missing there?
Man.
I don't know. They're
That's a good
absolutely
question.
inconsistent. They're just
That's a good
inconsistent
question.
up and down.
I mean, Peterson's a good coach. Shit. Here's my thing about Peterson. He wins a Super Bowl in Philly, has a so-so year the next year, gets fired.
Yeah.
Do you think they have a bunch of partiers on the team, maybe? Do you think they party too much?
I don't know. Jacksonville's not really known as a party city,
That's not. Yeah.
but they are in Florida. I'm
Bruh,
down.
when you got millions, you can party anywhere.
Yeah.
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 You see RG3 jump in that pool? They were ready to roll.
You think that team, though, and I'm going kind of off here, but you think that team's going to end up in London eventually?
No.
Wow, man.
Hell no.
Ooh. I can't.
I'm not saying tomorrow, but every year they're playing 3 games
they
over there,
are.
guys.
They do.
I could see it.
And now they opened up the market in Germany.
Yeah, but listen about so if you're playing and you said London, that changes your whole. Like, don't you got to live over there?
What happens if they have 5 teams that play over there?
But
4 teams.
No, hell. But don't you got to move and live over there?
Yeah.
Nah.
You're talking all kind of different money now. I gotta have a house here and there. Like,
Nah.
come on.
Those guys are making millions. What the hell's that have to do with
Everybody's not
anything?
making. Everybody's not making millions.
They'll
No,
figure
I
it
think-
out.
Yeah,
No.
I think they would visit. I think their kids would stay in the U.S. Like if you had a family, I think they'd stay in the U.S. and Yeah.
No,
Easy, Mr. Beans. I don't think that they're going to just pick up NFL, move to freaking London.
that's not even fair. Like, I don't get to see my family, but you get to see yours all year. No,
Ted Lasso.
And they don't
Ted
even
Lasso.
celebrate Thanksgiving. What are they going to do?
Hey, look. All right. So you got 4 teams over in Europe. You've got 2 over in Great Britain. You've got 1 in Germany, and you've got 1 somewhere else. Okay. That's a division. That's 4 teams. They play each other home and away. That's 8 games. Then you come back and you play games back here. Okay. You come back here. You just got to find the other 3 teams. They're going to be willing to be in Germany for those games and at the other London location and the other, whatever else you pick. I mean, and then you still have a home field over here. I mean, they want it to be a global market, just like the NBA is, where they wouldn't keep putting these games over there, man. They just wouldn't do it. That's big.
True. You're true, Mark, but also we don't have any foreign NBA teams, but they do have leagues all over.
Toronto.
All over. Hey, all right. So we think the Browns, we think that Texans could be that bubble team. I still think the Steelers get knocked out. I think if they lose to the Patriots this week, it's a wrap. I do. I really do. I think it's a wrap on their season. But that's me. I'm a Yinzer. We'll leave it there. Hey, in the NFC, it's a little different. Eagles, Niners, Lions. That's your top 3. Falcons, Cowboys, Vikings, Packers. And then your bubble teams are a little bit less. You've got Rams, Seahawks, Bucks, and Saints.
Saints.
Who makes a difference over there?
Oh, who makes a difference?
Mm-hmm.
So
who slides out? Who slides in?
Oh,
Saints are out.
Who? Saints?
Yeah. Who's quarterback?
That to me is wide open. I don't even know.
Are you saying what bubble team gets in and what team in now slides out?
Slides out.
So you can't say the Saints are out because
they're already out.
They're already
out. Falcons. They're saying Falcons are going to win that division.
I see that.
That's what they're saying. Falcons are going to win that division. They're saying Cowboys and Vikings. But you know what? Josh Dobbs is not going to be a quarterback this week for the Vikings.
What? Who is?
Yeah, they're going to go with who they say, Kellen Mond, or I forget who it was. They said Josh Dobbs, those 4 interceptions, they're working someone else. They were not happy about that. Not happy about that. So that's going to be interesting. I can see the Cowboys getting in. I could see the Cowboys beating a lower tier team game 1. Right now, the Cowboys would probably play the Falcons week 1 in the playoffs. I could see them winning that game. And then they'd have to play the Lions, Niners, or Eagles, depending on how the Vikings and Packers do. I don't know. I could see them getting the ass pretty quick after that first win. But that would be a big step forward for the Cowboys. Who do you think's the hottest team in the league right now, guys?
Niners.
Oh man, but
yeah.
I think there's a little group. I don't know if you could pick out just one. I think the Dolphins are hot right now. The Ravens are solid, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to finish strong. Man, that's a tough one. Niners
are the best team.
So you match the Niners and the Dolphins up. You think it's pretty even matchup?
I don't know if the
same
Dolphins
offenses. Boys, it's the same offense. I just think the Niners have more weapons.
Oh, man, they got guys that can score from anywhere in the field. Whether it's Ayuk, whether it's Kittle, whether it's Debo, whether it's your boy CMC. You know what I'm saying? That's huge. And that offense is so quarterback friendly. When your quarterback is peaceful, he's chilling, he knows everything is set up perfect for me. Ooh, it's a hell of a day, brother.
It's going to be interesting because the Dolphins' strength of schedule, they have the 12th hardest schedule remaining the next 5 games when they play the Cowboys, Ravens, Bills, but then they got the Titans and Jets. But the Niners, they got the 23rd toughest schedule.
Start with Seattle.
They have the Ravens, Seattle, Rams, Cardinals, and that team in D.C. I don't know what their name is.
Think about the 2 teams he just named. What do they have in common in terms of team?
Ravens.
Both
That's
of them play the
gonna be
Ravens.
the X factor.
And
Whoever beats them.
this is where the Ravens are going to have to, cream of the crop is going to have to rise to the top for them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this is where it gets a little tricky in the AFC North right now. This is where it gets tricky there.
Steelers losing games they shouldn't have lost is killing them. Killing them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, that's a given. That's a given. Hey, great discussion on playoffs and college and everything, guys. Let's do the top 5 all sport power rankings. Okay. I'm going to give you mine and you could throw yours at me. I went with the Eagles number 1, especially because they won, I just think they're a really good team, but I think the Niners may dethrone them from that spot for me. Even though the Niners have lost more, I think from that perspective, I think the Niners. I went with the Celtics, number 2. I went with the Sixers, who are a legit team this year in basketball. Number 3, I put the Ravens in there. And then I put the Rangers. The New York Rangers are a legit hockey team this year. They are on fire. El Fuego.
Yes.
So that's my 5. You know, my 5 includes the Niners in there as well. So what are you guys thinking?
I got the Rangers, definitely. Rangers.
What about Vegas in hockey? Isn't Vegas like the
Vegas is probably number 2 in hockey.
Yeah, Rangers are on fire because they got 2 solid goalies, this Shesterkin dude, and then they picked up this other guy who's like 37 or 38 years old who's 7-0-1. And when you get a backup goalie that's solid like that, I think you're going to make a run.
Well, basically, you just need defense in front of them.
And
you need 200-foot players.
The reason why I wouldn't put no, you said Vegas. I was going to say the Bruins. The Bruins, you know, they're a regular season team.
Yes, I got the Rangers. I got let's see. I'm gonna roll the Niners because they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Terrence Crawford in boxing too. I'm gonna have to throw him in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
all sports.
We can go all sports.
Yeah,
yeah.
Any top 5 teams in any sport, Mikey.
Well, since he said Crawford, I was going to go a different way, but I will, and I'm not giving them in any order. But if we're going team sports, man, I like the Eagles. I understand they lost, but whatever, I like the Eagles. Fellas, I would have went with the Vegas over the Rangers. There's something about the night. I'll go with your Rangers.
You know what?
I like Minnesota. Yeah, I like Minnesota over Boston. I just do.
I was going to say the same thing.
I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota over Boston. Now, of course, 3-4 weeks from now that can change, but I'm going there. So I got my Eagles. I got Vegas. I have Minnesota. I'm then going to go, and it is no particular order, but if I'm going back to football, I'm going to go Niners. You have to go Niners. I like Miami, but they're hot, but I'm going to go with your boys. I'm going to go with 49ers. And if then on that aspect, I will go with the Celtics rounding it out on that aspect, you know. But if he did throw Crawford in there, but if we were going to throw those dudes in there, as much as I'm not a fan, but you got to give him his props, I'm going John Jones. He sat out and he's coming and winning belts. Terrence Crawford right there, you know, because I'm an MMA guy and a boxing guy. So, yeah, I like it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, Terrence Crawford, he's no joke, man. Terrence Crawford, that's the real deal, man.
Is that Kiski area education? I think you named like 7 or 8 people. Jeez, oh.
Well, once he said Terrence Crawford, I was about to change my whole gamut, though. Once he said Terrence Crawford,
you just started.
I was about to change
got
my whole
so
gamut.
excited. Yeah,
Coach Noob, you quiet tonight. I know we've been eating up the airtime. What do you got?
I mean, I love the 49ers. I think after this week, again, I was Vegas in hockey. I like that. I think you got to knock off the champ to be the champ. Eagles are solid. I'll go with the Crimson Tide.
Nice.
I think they're going to make a run right here. And then I'm going to go Nebraska women's volleyball.
Ooh.
Who has a former Northwest Jag playing for them?
What? Who's that?
Our girl. The volleyball.
Janasia?
Three-time.
Janasia's in Nebraska now?
Yeah, 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year. Yes,
Are they
sir.
playing Pitt?
Really? I didn't know Janasia went there.
You know,
It's
Pitt was
switched.
number one. You know, Pitt was a 1 seed, just so we know had that understanding.
In women's volleyball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that before
Nebraska,
the season started?
I think Nebraska's lost one, I think.
We're a volleyball school now.
Interesting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey,
hey.
my school's a golf school, so it could be worse.
Hey, Meredith, is that the end of the show?
It's an outstanding show, and it is. Yes.
Question before we go.
Okay.
Can I have your Mount Rushmore of comedians?
Ooh.
Woo!
Mount Rushmore comedians. So I only got to pick 4?
Jeez, come on. That's all
That's on the freaking Mount Rushmore.
I mean, come on.
All right,
bro.
listen. John Candy. Do I have to pick him in any kind of order?
We don't stand up for comedy.
Left to right.
Comedy chops. Come on, man.
I gotta
We
go
go movies or stand up, or
Oh.
either or.
All the
right.
above.
Oh,
All the above. I got to
Okay.
go John Candy.
I like that.
I got to
one.
go Tommy Boy. You
Okay.
know my guy.
Chris Farley, yeah.
Yeah. That guy in a little coat.
Live in a van down by the river.
Let me see who else. Belushi.
Okay.
You know, I like the fat guys. They're funny. And I gotta go with Eddie Murphy. I gotta go with Eddie Murphy. He's my, him and Richard Pryor, maybe half a face, half a face.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Again. We said 4. You named 5
I
guys.
said half a face, half a face.
Jesus. Come on.
Anybody else want to run a chime in on that?
I'm only gonna put 2. My 2 are Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. I grew up on those guys. They're the best, in my opinion.
I like that.
Yeah, I only have 2. The other 2 faces can be off somewhere else.
T Sizzle will be one of those other faces.
Hey, Pryor, Murphy, George Carlin, and Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah.
Chop.
Man,
Chop.
I don't have it in any order. I'm putting my boy Chappelle up there, regardless of what he does. Chappelle, I got Chappelle. I have Bernie Mac.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Believe it or not, he was clean, but I like my man Seinfeld. Seinfeld, when his stand up, Seinfeld's a funny dude.
Oh, I love
Seinfeld is a funny dude. And when he does his comedies, he's not a comedian. I can't go Joe Pesci. I'm going to go, you hit me up with Carlin. I'm going to go Carlin. I liked him. I like Carlin's stand up because he made you think and he came with it. So I'm going Pesci, Bernie Mac, Seinfeld, and Carlin.
All right.
That.
Sheen, let's hear it, baby.
I go Red Fox. Red Fox gives it to
yeah.
Pryor. Richard Pryor gives it to Eddie. Eddie gives it to Dave Chappelle. I'm a firm believer. For me, I'm a firm believer in what your peers say. I'm a big believer in that. Like,
yeah.
I come to the school and I say, "What kind of teacher was Newbauser?" And they say he stinks. I'm like, "Oh, well, Newbauser's a bad teacher."
It's a good thing you won't hear that.
They say Newbauser who?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chops.
You won't hear that either.
Thanks for joining us tonight. You're welcome
man.
any freaking time to come on with us. Go ahead and give us your social media, Chops. I know you don't use it a lot, but if anybody wants to connect with you, I know you got something out there.
Actually, I'm on Twitter at The Real Big Chops, but I don't even do too much Twitter. But literally here, I'm on Facebook a lot, whatever. But I don't do as much as I don't do it like I used to. But I definitely want to catch you guys again next week not next week, which I will, but after these bowls. I want to see how you guys act, depending on if the Steelers are pathetic in their showing. I want to see Mark be hot as a pistol, ticked off again. And then I want to see the bowl predictions when they play out. How you guys? Those are 2 shows I'm looking forward to seeing.
Sizzle,
Checking you guys out.
give them your social media that you don't use much either.
Young Terry.
At one young Terry. Yeah.
At Coach Noobs, tell them Noobs.
Right here.
Yeah, baby. At Coach Noob on X and IG.
Okay. Sheen,
There you
I ain't hard to find. Rasheen Hill, Facebook.
we know that.
Hey, where's the leprechaun uniform you were wearing Saturday?
Hey, just a little precursor going into next week, y'all. We're gonna have Trey Essex, former Pittsburgh Steeler, on, and he loves to tweet and he loves to talk controversy. He's not a big Tomlin fan, especially after last week's Cardinals loss. So looking forward to him We'll be on next Tuesday night, 7:05. Chops, you're welcome to join us. Just hit me up. Have your questions ready.
Because again, I want to ask real questions. I want to know, is there a such thing as a locker room cancer? Reason being is football is supposed to be guy gets hurt, next man up. Number one. Number two, how many of you guys hang out with your a lot of coworkers? And if your coworkers have an issue, how does that affect your home or what you guys got going on in the classroom? I personally have never been a big he's a locker room issue because we're grown men. We have real things going on. We have wives, kids. Also you ever notice very rarely when a guy gets a DUI, is he with a teammate? I don't think they all are that close. A lot of them. We're coworkers. We're not friends.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Because they're still at the club.
There are some, but
didn't Le'Veon Bell and the other running back get caught with weed?
Damn.
Yeah, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're on 28.
It was the other big back from he went to Oregon. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Endahall.
Look, LeGarrette Blunt.
Yes.
Blunt.
Yes.
That's why his last name is Blunt. LeGarrette Blunt.
In the Garden of Eden.
Check out our website, apps, and much more on the Original Sports Podcast by checking out our pod page first. Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei on pod page. You can like our Facebook page, join a conversation on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and don't forget this episode viewed live on YouTube, and it will stay there. And by the way, guys, congratulations to you guys. We have now been picked up by Sideline Sports Network, along with Let's Talk Sports Network, and we are part of a pretty big conglomerate coming forward. So big things are coming forward for us. We are going to do our Christmas show on December 23rd. It will be live from my garage. We'll have some surprises for you and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. Email us with any questions, comments, anything you want to tell us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks to Shawn Antkowiak for doing our voice intro. Thanks to Chuck Hudson, my man Charlie, for doing intro and outro music, and my wife for doing the web for us. Hey, guys, I'm looking forward to next week so everybody can experience the O with us once again on the Original Sports Podcast. Peace.
Fellas, appreciate it.
What was that? Peter Paul married that guy?